after we've introduced this legislation, we have kept our promise and that this is something comes before us every year just to make a few changes with. And it will probably come before you next year. If you will go to line 50 with this, there have been some issues with the confidentiality of these contracts as they are between the students and the university and the personnel who look at them. This is a confidentiality clause that's probably similar to other confidentiality clauses that y'all have seen. And basically, if you look at line 50, it's except as otherwise provided in this article or required by the court order or other applicable laws. All agreements and proposed agreements entered into or contemplated under this article and the terms thereof shall be maintained confidential by all parties to such agreement, and no person shall disclose any agreement, proposed agreement, or terms thereof without the express prior permission of all parties to the agreement. And then it goes on to say what the damages would be and what the remedies are if somebody agrees to this. It also specifies that agents who disclose this information are subject to this. And then it also specifically points this out in lines 83 as well. Under the agent, the athletic agent specific statute. So that's an explanation of the bill. Is there any questions on that? All right, we have a motion for title sufficient to pass. All committee sub, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you. All right. Senator Blackman is going to talk to us about the his Senate Bill 2046. And at the appropriate time, Senator Delano is going to offer a reverse repealer because we've got a few things missing from this bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a bill that has been before this committee the last 2 years, so we're on year 3. What it does is it grants a property right in an individual's name, likeness, and voice. It lays out how that property right can be transferred or contracted out or inherited. It lays out the penalties for misuse of an individual's name, likeness, and image, and it lays out the First Amendment protections for the use and lays out how it can be used. And that's a short explanation of the bill, and I will take any questions.
Questions for Senator Blackman? Senator Delano, recognize you for that amendment.
Yeah, I'd like to put a reverse repealer in this, Madam Chair.
All right, the motion's been made to put a reverse repealer in this bill. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion for the bill.
Motion to title sufficient to pass committee sub.
All right, the motion is title sufficient to pass committee sub. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. The next bill is 2208. That is the Mississippi Public University Governance Study Commission. What the primary objective of this legislation is, it establishes a study committee that's tasked with reviewing the system level governance structure of Mississippi's public institutions of higher learning. The key provisions of this, it creates a governance study commission, and it looks at the governance structure, accountability, oversight, coordination across institutions. It looks at the objectives. It's rather specific in all the things that it does. It will be a committee composition that you can see in that it will report out the timelines December 1st, no later than December 1st, and then the committee would dissolve January 1st of next year. It would be supported by the Joint Legislative Committee and Performance Evaluation Peer Committee. And that is a very brief synopsis of the bill. Any questions? I'll be happy to entertain questions on that piece of legislation. Yes, sir. Senator Norwood.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, in reviewing the structure, do we have any idea what other states or other organizations, similar organization that we will be looking at to determine, if we change this, what we would go to?
Senator Norwood, that's a great question. And you can remember from the committee hearings, you participated in this summer and looked at that. We talked to a couple of other states and really looking at what they did on a number of different issues. I think specifically, we've said that we would like to look at what Florida is doing, what Tennessee is doing. They have different kind of systems in place. And so those, but we will be looking really across the country to look at the structure, what the efficiency is, to make sure that we can raise performance levels at all of our IHL institutions.
And we'll be looking at, palatable, states with the, similar number of colleges or universities that will come under jurisdiction.
I would expect we would, Senator Norwood. So we'll be looking at all those things, really trying to get, and this is something that is being done across the country. As you heard this summer, states across the country are looking at how do we best prepare our students for the workforce? How do we make sure that we're getting high quality graduates? And also how universities are matriculating those students along to make sure that those that are entering are being productive and getting those degrees. So those are things that we'll be looking at, just in looking at the whole governance. We'll be looking at IHL, how they coordinate with the universities to really make sure that we are getting the highest level of performance that we've done in those areas. We've looked at that very succinctly in regards to K-12. We've seen a lot of improved performance with our K-12 institutions over the last several years. So we'll be applying those same metrics and really looking at IHL as well.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any additional questions? All right, we have a motion for title sufficient do pass. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. We have next, we have Senator Seymour's bill. It's 2342. And it is the Safe Dormitories Act. Let me get to that. This is the committee sub. What this bill does, it requires the public institutions of higher learning to make a report to either the Board of Trustees or to the community college board as well, to look at what is being done in regards to making sure that they have safe dormitories. And if you go through it, gives the definitions of that in that section. Also, it looks to look at the accommodations of coeducational, single educational, whether they're living the same floor. It also looks at bathrooms and different things like that, curfews and dormitories. And it would ask, his bill would ask that IHL make a report on a number of those things, and the community colleges as well. It would be looking at a lot of policies and provisions in that, really looking at age requirements and different aspects of that. And that is an explanation of his bill.
Madam Chair,
Senator Delano?
this is something that that IHL and the College Board can already do. If we ask them, they can provide us a report of this, correct?
Yes, they should be able to.
Is there a reason why this would need to be codified?
This is just the proposed legislation with that to really look at that. So,
I have a motion at the proper time.
Question, is
yes,
there a fiscal note on this?
there is not a fiscal note on that, Senator Hobson.
Thank you.
Senator Delano?
My motion would be to table.
Okay, Senator Delano has made a motion to table this. Senator Norwood, did you have a question? Okay. All right, Senator Delano has made a motion to table this. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that bill will be tabled. All right, the last bill that is before us is we are simply bringing forth the code sections of IHL. We are trying to work with the College Board to look at a number of factors, and we want to continue to work with the College Board in looking at a number of those factors. So at this time, I would recognize Senator Delano for a motion that we bring forth those code sections.
So your motion would be title sufficient to pass?
Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you. Do I have another motion? All right, rise and report. Thank you.
You got me on that one. I have a question. No, I get it later on. I get on. I mean, I think she pretty much said what, the things that they're working with the college board